Good morning, grade fives, and welcome to another English lesson. It is Wednesday, halfway through the week. I hope that you're cozy and you're warm, and wherever you are ready to learn. I do recommend getting a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen with this lesson because we're going to be doing quite a few different activities, and so they're just handy. So the joke of today is, what do you get when you cross a pig with a cactus? You get a, drumroll please, a porcupine. Porcupine? I know you're laughing, either at me or with me, but you're laughing. Okay, so remember, boys and girls, that if you've got any questions throughout this lesson, please email them to grade5@WorksheetCloud.com. This lesson is brought to you by WorksheetCloud, and welcome. We're happy to have you, and I hope that you're excited to learn. So before we begin, we are going to warm up our brains with a lesson starter. I think we're going to be doing quite a few lesson starters in the next English lessons to come, just to also just revise on certain concepts, especially with the language part of English. And so what we're doing with our lesson starter today is contractions, and this isn't related to our actual topic of our lesson. Now remember, a contraction is when we have two words and I bring them together, I remove certain letters and I replace those letters with an apostrophe. So I'm going to give you some sentences. The first one is an example. Trudy does not understand her homework. The words does not are in italics, and so if I combine does not, it becomes doesn't understand her homework. Okay, let's have a look at the rest. Sam rarely laughs while he is sleeping. We have tried to be fair to everyone. Karen and Sarah think they are cuter than you. Maria refused to admit that she had put butter in her pocket. The report will be handed in, but it will be late. I wonder if it is proper to eat soup with a knife and fork. That is the silliest song they have ever sung. Okay, so now you press pause on the video, you try it all out on your own, and the answers will be revealed to you right now. Right, so we've got he. Sam rarely laughs while he's sleeping. We've tried to be fair to everyone. Karen and Sarah think they're cuter than you. Maria refused to admit that she'd put butter in her pocket. The report will be handed in, but it'll be late. I wonder if it's proper to eat soup with a knife and fork. And lastly, that is the silliest song they've ever sung. So, did you get them all right? I'm sure that you did. Okay, so this brings us to our lesson for today, and it is all on conjunctions. So, conjunctions, another word that we use to describe conjunctions would be connecting. So we talk about connecting words. And our objectives today, we're going to be looking at simple sentences, compound sentences, conjunctions, coordinating conjunctions, and then we're going to do some practice exercises together. Okay, are you ready? Now, what is the point of this particular lesson? I think this sums up what the whole point of this lesson is. When we have writers, whether it's writers that write books or newspapers or articles or magazines or any type of writing, you are a writer, I'm a writer. When you pick up a pen and pencil and you put words together, you are writing. And remember that the moment that we put sentences together, we use sentences to make the language come to life in words, using words, and it makes life interesting and lively. But the moment that we have simple sentences, short, simple sentences, that's it, they're simple, they're boring. But then if we've got too long sentences, they're difficult to read, it's difficult to understand, it's difficult to also breathe and see where the pauses are. And so sentences in general, they need to have direction and they need to have structure. So the two types of sentences that we are going to look at today, there is a third, but we're not going to go into the third today. We're going to look at simple sentences and compound sentences. The third is complex sentences, which you'll possibly do later on in the year, but we are only going to be looking or focusing on the two simple and compound sentences today. So, what exactly is a simple sentence? Well, that's just it. They're simple. They're very, very simple. You all use simple sentences in your writing, and I know that you do because it's easy. It's made up of a few words, but now I'm going to tell you that I want you to get rid of simple sentences. The sand was golden, full stop. Or the sun was hot, full stop. How can we change that? How can we add to that? And you can see, that's why I've put these pictures here. The dog's sleeping and it's boring. They're boring. It doesn't flow nicely. So it's very, very simple. It's short. It's to the point. What is a compound sentence? Now, a compound sentence is a little less simple. So what it involves is when you have two or more short, independent, simple sentences, they have got equal weight. We then join them together using conjunctions, using specific joining words. And conjunctions are either, and I'll come to conjunctions a little bit later, but they can either be in the middle of sentences or actually in the beginning, funny enough. Right, so for example, of a compound sentence, I can have two simple sentences. The sea was rough, full stop. The sun was shining, full stop. To the point, boring. Okay, also remember with simple sentences, it shows your clause. So a clause is like a subject of that sentence. The sea was rough, it's talking about the sea. The sun was shining, talking about the sun. Okay, so your simple has one clause. Compound, it involves many more. Wouldn't it sound better if we take those simple, boring sentences, we add a conjunction, we remove that full stop after the first sentence, we make it a compound sentence, and those two simple sentences become, the sea was rough, but the sun was shining. Isn't that just better? It flows more, it flows easier, there's more life, you imagine it more in your mind. And so a compound I'm all for compound sentences. Go compound. And it's by using conjunctions. Right. So I'm going to present you with two different paragraphs, and I want you, and these two paragraphs, they have the same information. The one paragraph is written using simple sentences, and the second paragraph is using compound sentences, and you're going to just notice how they're different. Okay, I love living in the city. I have a wonderful view of the entire city. I have an apartment. I can see the Golden Gate Bridge. I can see many cargo ships pass under the bridge each day. I like the restaurants in San Francisco. I can find wonderful food from just about every country. I don't like the traffic in the city. Okay, short, simple, to the point. Boring. It's a good compound. I love living in the city of San Francisco. I have a wonderful view of the entire city from my apartment window. In addition, I can see the Golden Gate Bridge, under which many cargo ships pass each day. I also like San Francisco because I can find wonderful restaurants with food from just about every country. However, I don't like the traffic in the city. So boys and girls, do you just see how adding conjunctions just makes your sentences flow and your paragraphs flow better? And they just brings life to your writing. And as you read it, for the reader itself, you visualize a lot more and you use your imagination a lot more. Okay. Right, so what exactly is a conjunction? Conjunctions are simply joining words that we use to link different parts of sentences together. We can link words together, we can link phrases, or we can link clauses. So the clauses, like I said, is like a subject of a sentence. So we can use a conjunction. Here, for example, is linking words. So Jack and Jill, the two of them, went up the hill. The birthday presents were for you and me. Okay, so that is an example of joining words together. Here we are going to look at joining sentences together, which helps our written English flow better. Right, so by removing the full stop and joining our simple sentences together. So for example, if I had my two simple sentences, the whole family were together for a lunch, full stop. They were very happy. Okay, it tells a lot about the mood. As you read, it's very jagged, it's very structured, to the point. Whereas if I change it and I add a conjunction, the whole family were together for a lunch and they were very happy. It just, the mood of that family lunch just flows and you immediately get a new idea of what is happening. Okay, so remember we changed two short, simple sentences into one complex sentence. And all we did was add the word and. We take away that full stop of the first sentence, we add the word and it just changes the dynamics of a sentence. Okay, now we're going to start off by looking at different conjunctions, and specifically we're going to be looking at coordinating conjunctions. Now with these particular coordinating conjunctions, we use the acronym FANBOYS. Remember, an acronym is a word that we make using the first letter of each of the word in question. So these conjunctions include for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So do you see FANBOYS creates fanboys, so you'll never forget it. And coordinating conjunctions, remember, is it's two sentences that are coordinating with itself together, right? So we get different types of conjunctions. This is just one type. This category of conjunctions is called coordinating conjunctions. So for example, we listened eagerly, for he brought news of our families. She didn't speak to anyone, and nobody spoke to her. I don't expect children to be rude, nor do I expect to be disobeyed. They rushed to the hospital, but they were too late. I will go shopping, or I will go camping. Kelly was a convicted criminal, yet many people admired him. I was feeling hungry, so I made myself a sandwich. Okay, so let's look at some examples. David likes music, full stop. Susan likes shopping. Two simple sentences. Which word from Fanboys are we going to use? And remember, sometimes you can use more than one, depending on what the two sentences are about and the mood of the two sentences. Remember, you don't want to change the mood. You just want to enhance the mood or enhance the context of the sentence. So we would say David likes music and Susan likes shopping. Okay, you wouldn't say David likes music for Susan likes shopping. David likes music nor Susan likes shopping. We're talking about liking, two people liking certain things. So we would use and. Secondly, I hate school. It is like being in prison. I really hope you don't hate school. Again, we've got two simple sentences. Which of the fanboys? I would say for. I hate school, for it is like being in prison. But I'm sure that none of you are going to agree with that sentence. Then we have Chelsea are wretchedly boring to watch on television. For all of you football fans, they have won many trophies over the past decade. Which fanboy would I use to connect? Chelsea are wretchedly boring to watch on television, yet they have won many trophies over the past decade. Okay, now it's your turn to practice. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you there are different sentences on your screen. Okay, there are 7. Some of them you have already done before, or I've already just done now in the practice. You're going to look at all 7 of these sentences. You're going to read them. You're going to decide which of these fanboys, which word from fanboys am I going to use to connect and combine the sentences. Okay, so now you have to press pause, read your sentences, decide on fanboys. Remember, when you put your conjunction in, you're going to remove your full stop, you're going to put a comma, put your conjunction, and then your capital letter of your second simple sentence will be changed to lowercase. Okay, ready? Go. Right, let's look at the answers. Okay, get out of my way, or there will be consequences. He hit me back. He hit me, so I hit him back, which I don't encourage, just by the way. Number 3, David likes music and Susan likes shopping. Number 4, I hate school, for it is like being in prison. Okay, we've done that one before. And the likes music and Susan shopping one. Number 5, I want to go swimming in the sea with my wife, but she is scared of sharks. Number 6, I don't like the way you're looking at me, nor do I like your smelly shoes. And number 7, we've done before, Chelsea are boring to watch on television, yet they have won so many trophies in the past decade. Okay, so I hope that you all got them right. I'm sure you did. Well done. Remember, it is important to always read your conjunction or your 2 sentences and decide which conjunction is best suited for those sentences based on what the subjects are, based on the mood, based on the clauses, and so on. Okay. So now we are going to practice something a little bit more challenging, and these types of conjunctions are more to do with sort of have a cause and effect relationship with the 2 sentences. So when I join the 2 together, it's like a cause and effect is what we would sort of explain these types of conjunctions. Okay, so if we have a look at the different types, we've got but, because, where, although, wherever, after, since, before, provided that, and I've put after again, which is my mistake. So we've got all of these conjunctions over here, and we've got sentences 1 to 6, right? Now remember, the best way to do this is to read your sentence and put in your different conjunctions and see which one fits the sentence. So read the sentences separately. Jane is a good dancer. Danielle is better. Okay. Would you say Jane is a good dancer wherever Danielle is better? Doesn't make sense. Danielle is a good dancer after Danielle is better. Danielle is a good dancer since Jane is a good dancer since Danielle is better. What would you put here? Jane is a good dancer, but Danielle is better. Okay, that's good because we're contradicting. So we're saying that one person is good, but this other person is better. Okay, read through all 6 of them. We're going to go through the answers right now. Okay, are you ready? Let's have a look and see if you got these correct. Right, so number 1. Okay, so we said Jane is a good dancer, but Danielle is better. So I would use the word but. Number 2, Tom won the award because his work was outstanding. So remember, it's still, he won this award. What about because his work was outstanding? Number 3, the bags were left where the girls left them. So we're talking about location. So where they left where the girls left them. Number 4, we sat at the table provided we washed our hands. So there's your cause and effect quite clearly. You can only sit at your table provided you wash your hands. Number 5, the captain sailed the ship well, although the night was foggy. And number 6, the girl bought a railway ticket before she boarded the train. Now, some of you might have different answers. Remember that it is okay to use different types of conjunctions. You can also have, your answers might be different, but remember it has to fit in with the style of your sentence. It has to flow and it has to make sense. It has to be in the right tense. It has to be in the correct context. So you could have a different one provided that it makes sense. Okay. Now is the time where, again, with your pencil and your paper, you're going to create your own suitable conjunction. Remember that in the world of conjunctions, you get many types of conjunctions. You get your fanboys, your coordinating conjunctions. You can have your cause and effect conjunctions. There's so many different types, and you will go into more detail with your different types of conjunctions the more you study English and the more you learn about English. And so now you can be as creative as you want and create your own 4 types of sentences, or your own conjunctions that fit in with the sentence, right? So the first 2, Pablo is a great violinist, something Stephanie is better. Number 2, the boy was punished, something he was so cheeky. Now for number 3 and 4, you're going to start your sentences with conjunctions. So something Jane nor Emma would sing at the concert. Number 4, something Anna forgot her homework. She had school detention. Okay, so what conjunctions are you going to add? What are you going to use for your own? Remember, if you need help, ask for help. Ask for somebody. Watch the video again if you like. Ask me for help. Ask somebody at home for help. It's important that you understand this. And remember, the more that you practice, the better you'll become. English is a difficult subject or language to learn because there are quite a few rules. But if you take it one thing at a time, you take it slowly, you say it to yourself, you read your sentences. Does this make sense? Does this not make sense? Is your tense correct? Does your sentence flow? Does it connect properly? Use your dictionaries, use your thesauruses, use the tools that you have available to you. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson, grade 5s. That brings us to the end of today. I shall see you all tomorrow, same time, same place, and I hope that you have a wonderful afternoon. Hakuna Matata, and remember to be kind to one another. Bye.